Okay, good afternoon, folks. Sorry I'm a little bit late. I'm going to have to nip off maybe for 10 minutes shortly. Got a guy coming to look at my water heater. It's playing up a bit. We've got no water and no heat at the moment. Heat's not a problem, but obviously water. So, sorry about a little bit late. I did take a trade here. I got in it, I got out of it, and I got back into it. And I just got $125. So let's see how we get on today. I also took a trade earlier, a while ago, on the CL as well. Just for 10 ticks, $200. I like that, but it was, unfortunately, I was nipping in and out with this boiler, and I only took it on one of my accounts. So I'll just sort of set this up now. So let me have a look. If I do that from, say, 79, so if I do that from 79, so I'll just set my thing up, and I will be with you. So yes, 79, 79. Excuse me a second. I am copying. 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. Brilliant. And 59 on the CL. Excuse me just a second. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just check. 69. Just give me a second. 69 not highlighted. Let me have a look. It's 79 and this should be 69. That's 59. Sorry about that. Should be 69, I think. Hold on, I'm messing up in a minute. I'm going to mess something up if I'm not careful. Just give me a second. So let's go with 79 to 69. Right. Let's go with 69. 69 on the yes. Excuse me a second. 69. So 69 on the yes and 59. Let's see. So I think that's everything sorted out. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry about that. It's been a funny old day. Part boiler breaking, part hangover. So I went out for some beers last night. Well, yesterday afternoon, when I finished yesterday afternoon with a couple of friends, and I had a few. So I was a little bit sore this morning, but I'm okay. So, okay, Speedy, how you doing, pal? Philip, how are you? Ionis, how are you? Sean, good morning. How's your rhythmic running today? So far, so good. None that I'm aware of. They have gone back onto the 71% discount. So I'm assuming people... See, the thing is, I think people that take evaluations or take them, pass them or fail them, will probably spend roughly the same sort of money. The difference is when it's 90% off, you can afford a few more. When it's 71% off, you have a little bit less. And the way the price is at the moment, there's definitely going to be less evaluations and less data coming through. So I'm assuming it will probably be a little quieter with rhythmic issues. I haven't seen anything on the Discord. Everything seems to be fine. I will quickly mention again, I am waiting for a guy to come and look at my water heater. So I'll just have to let him in and let him in the room. So I might have to skip off just for 5 minutes. But while he's doing it, I can just keep coming in and sort of keep you updated. So I'm wondering if that... Let me have a look. Touch. I'm not sure about that channel there. Laggy. You're laggy, are you? I'm okay at the moment, bud. I do have a bit of software that's supposed to sort it out. Let me have a look, see if I can find it. I forget what it's called now. But I remember somebody mentioned it about, I don't know, maybe a year ago, and I downloaded it. But if there is a lot of data coming through, it can affect the lag. So I think the trick is just when you, I can't see at the moment, when you see your lag up here, your lag indicator, once it starts to go orange, just sit tight, I would, and just tell it. Sometimes when the market opens it does, but it's been okay really lately. It's not been too bad. So what are we doing here at the moment? What are we doing? What are we doing? Are we coming down? Let me see if there's a larger channel there. I don't know if there is. We had some news earlier which caused this little spike. Nothing too major, and we seem to recover most of it pretty quickly. So whether we're having a larger... I'm not too sure really. Kanan, how you doing, mate? If we cancel the wrong eval, they will revoke the eval again. Now, they've said this quite a few times, that they're going to stop doing it. Now, in all fairness, it's been a bit of a pain for us lately with all the problems, so it would be nice if they went out their way a little bit and did it. So all I would do, mate, is send them a nice email, be polite and say, I'm still quite new. I'm a new customer, so I've made a mistake. I understand. You just I would appreciate it if you would help me out just this once, and you might get a nice guy if you're nice and polite. I'm a big believer, and if you talk to people nicely, they'll quite often help you out. So just play dumb, really. Just make out I'm sorry, I'm new and all that sort of thing, and hopefully you'll be okay. But what I do is I check and double check now. Sometimes write it down a bit of paper because I've done it myself a few times. Yeah, so, I mean, if they're 90% off, I probably wouldn't even bother myself, but they've gone back up to 71 now. So, now, just incidentally, if you get a new evaluation, I think it's $48, they do a $35 reset. So, if you've only had your evaluation and you've blown it, you've only had it a couple of 3 days or something like that, maybe a week, it'll be cheaper to reset it. But I'm hoping this is on for a week, this 71%. So I'm hoping we may get something better at the end of the week. I think we deserve it. Or I mean, I'm not taking it at the moment, but I think the customers deserve it. It's been a tricky time lately, so I think it would be nice if Apex did it. But yeah, just play dumb, mate. You know what it's like. Just I'm ever so sorry, I made a mistake. Blah blah blah. I'm new. Just do that, and hopefully it will get sorted out. So yeah, it's a shame really. I hadn't set up because I was in and out with this boiler. I had to move some stuff out of the way, but I actually really like that. We're clearly sort of, there's clearly some support up here, and we've had a channel with a break and a new low, and we've retested it once. We've come back, retested again, and pushed up strongly 2 legs back. So I like that. I like the fact that there's probably going to be some shorts there as well, and it's triggered them a few, maybe 4 ticks, and then come back up. But I expected that to get up here, which is why I took that. But it was a nice second entry long. I'd have preferred it a bit closer, but I like the fact that it's triggered that, so that made it a little bit more attractive to me. So there was kind of a double trap there, really. You had some longs there, triggered, stopped out, and then some shorts and 2 legs down. I'd expect that to work. I don't always take those. I prefer it a bit closer, but it depends on the circumstances, and I like the fact that it trapped the longs, stopped them out, and the shorts got trapped as well, and you'd expect that to at least get to these highs, so I like that. So I think we're ranging here. That was the news. Then we recovered, so I would say there is a range there. do we put it there? Let me think. Let me get rid of this a minute. See, I like that. I did. We came and tested it once, twice, three. It was a triple test. It came down and then went up a bit, and I got out of it, I think, for break even, and then I got back in it. I thought it is a triple test. In fact, I was expecting it to come down here, but then it started to go a bit sideways, so I just got out of it. So yeah, I got in it, then got out of it, then got back in. Clearly once, twice, three times triple test, but then it decided to go back up again. So if we can move this till it fits somewhere nice, let me have a look. So we got 1 touch, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or if we bring it down, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So somewhere around there. That was the news. Then we pulled back in and we tried to go higher again and failed. So I'm sitting on top of those, or if I put it there, I've only really got 3 touches, haven't I? Maybe. But I'm guessing this will be the new top quite probably, but I will put something there anyway, because there is some support there. Okay, sorry about that. Let me have a look. Chris, how you doing, Chris? Does your order line decorator work on the CL chart? Does it? Let me have a look. Have I got it in the? Have I got it in my indicators? Let me just have a look on my indicators. It is on there. Does it work? Yeah, I think it does, mate. Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, because I added on me. I could see me $200 profit on it. So yeah, it does, bud. It does. It can be a little bit temperamental, that sometimes. Yeah, you're welcome, bud. Yeah, it can be a bit temperamental. I'd switch it off, switch it back on, and then just open up a sim and just fire it up a couple of times till it works. It's a good bit of kit, actually, and it was free as well. I really like it, because a lot of the time, sometimes when you're moving your profit and you stop, you're trying to... Why does this keep changing colour? For some reason, every day, I've changed this to a different colour, and for some reason it keeps coming back. Damn thing. I don't like the green. I wanted something fresh. Was it teal? Where's me wick? That's better. In fact, let's set up a template. What's going on? Okay. Templates. Save as. What's the date today? 13th. No. 13th of June. Save that. For some reason, it keeps switching over to the green. I'm a bit fed up with the green. It's quite a harsh colour, isn't it? I kind of like that. It's a little bit more subtle. Oh, is there like a hidden second entry short there? Let me have a look at this. There may be a spike in the channel there. There isn't a second entry there, but it depends how we do this channel. If we do, it's come away a little bit, but I don't think that's bad. I'm not taking it myself because can't seem to figure out how to get this to look right. just looking at this CL a minute, I kind of like this. We've got a little channel with a correction and another channel with a break and a new high. Push below the EMA, we've come back. There is a bearish bar there. It's a bit too far for a higher low. Sorry, lower high. It's more like just a first entry. If we can get a second entry short here, I may have a go at that. I don't know if we're going to. That needs to finish, hopefully, small. Keep an eye on that. If I take one, I'll drag it in. So, yeah, that has worked. I kind of like it. I suppose you could say it's a hidden second entry short. How far's it gone for? So, you'd have squeezed 2 points out of it, I think, as it stands. But you can see we are sort of looping down, aren't we? I like the fact that it's trapped that long. Yeah, you'd have got 2 points out of that, definitely. I like the bar, but it's only really, I mean, you could argue it's a hidden second entry. We sort of push up and we come back and then we push up again. Well, it clearly worked. Is there a larger channel on that? See. There may be a larger channel on that CL. Yeah, there may be a larger channel. It's hard to say, really. We've made a new high. We've had a leg back. Whether we're going to have 2 attempts and it comes down, but there could be a larger channel there. Where could we get to? 2 legs back. So we've had 2 legs back. We definitely could. It could push up there. It's hard to say, isn't it, really? If you don't know, there's nothing you can do. Have I said hello to everybody? I think I have. K3, I've said hello to you, I think, or have I? Leah, Baby Squid, Chris, Michael. Yeah, I think I've said hello to everyone. How's your lag now, Michael? Is anybody else getting lag issues, or are they all sorted out? Hopefully they're all sorted out. Sometimes you can when the market's open. I don't know. Sometimes there's no real rhyme or reason for it. Okay, I think we're making a break here. Just looking at that, the offset with the tick offset. That's this. So it's more or less identical, but just sometimes can be slightly different. It actually fits better on the top there as well. So, but the entry there was better than this, in all fairness. That was just a channel, so that really is not one to take. Probably too close. Yeah, sometimes open can get a bit like that, can't it? Oh dear me. There is a triple test on the CL. But I thought, look at this. 1, 2, 3. It's actually about as good as they look. My only slight concern is, see how it finishes. My only slight concern is it is a second entry short as well if it finishes right. But there may be a larger channel there. I don't know whether there is. That's the trouble. We've had that channel with a break. We've pushed up and it's played out. So technically it's played out. But I've just put that there and it kind of works there and it kind of works at the top. So there could be a second entry short there. But if you took that, it could trap you. So look. But then is there an overshoot there? So is it expected to come down? It's so hard to decide what to do there. Second entry short, triple test. I think I might just have to sit out this. Part me wants to take it, part doesn't. So I think the best thing to do would just be to leave it now. Look at that, look. What's the size of that bar? Yeah, so you're talking a $280 loss if it doesn't work, which is not huge, but it's times 10. So if you get rid of that, what does it look like? Maybe not so bad. God, it's very tempting, isn't it? Okay, I'm not sure about it. It may be and it may not be. So just for now, I'm going to leave it. That's the safer option if I'm not sure. I think after a triple test, if it was a good enough bar, it would move a little bit quicker. And it's not. So tempting. So tempting. No, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. I'll just be 1 minute. Okay. No, it's no good anyway. Tell a lie. Did it work? How much did it get? Came down so damn quick though, that was the problem. You'd have to have an order there. Let's have a look. It's a tough one, that is. Let's just bring that in quickly. That was what I was looking at, the triple test. You could call that once, twice, 3 times. So if you'd have got in 1 tick below, which would have been there. Let's try that again. Which would have been there. If you'd have gone for $200, which is what I would have done there, 10 ticks, you'd have just made that. It may come down again. I'd like it to trigger above there. Let's have a look. trigger that long and then come down for some more. So there may be a failure here. Let's just push it out of the way. If I take it, I'll bring it down. Yeah, this is coming down, I think. Must do. Still lag. Oh, Sean, you still got some lag, have you? I mean, what you can do, which helps, is right-click down in the corner if you've got Windows. Right-click in the corner and click Adjust Times. That sorted it. OBS disconnected and reconnected. Yeah, that does it sometimes. That's what I used to do, and that used to sort it out. But then I got a piece of software which checks it, I think, every hour or something like that. I wonder. What if there's something like that? That kind of works along that midline, doesn't it? So it's hard to say, really. Oh, Rhythmic's disappeared. Right. Okay, we're back in. What for that? Has anybody heard of Moo? He's just seemed to disappear off the face of the earth. I liked him. I thought he was a nice guy. Strange. He just seems to have vanished. I hope he hasn't given up trading. I know he had his share of struggles, but we've all had them. And I thought he'd do okay, with time. I hope he hasn't given up. I know he does a lot of running, so whether it's just that's the season and he's busy, kind of doing his running. This is interesting. So I wasn't sure whether there was a bigger channel and we had a leg and a leg, but this thing does seem to be. I don't like all that lot. There's 5 touches there. Is that a good thing? Maybe. It's a fair sizey bar and I wouldn't want to take it that far. There's just no room to the lows. I ain't finished yet either. There's just not enough room to the lows, really, is there? And if it is that channel, I think it's risky, because if that's the bottom of the channel, look what's happening. It's kind of doing that, isn't it? So it could trigger and push up. So I'm still on the fence there as to whether there's a bigger channel there or not. We'll soon find out. You did that a few times to sync the time, but it's still lagging. There is a piece of software. Let me see if I can find it. Someone mentioned it to me, and to be fair, it sorted mine out, and I believe it checks it regularly and rechecks it and resyncs it. What's it called? Let's see if I can find it. It's free. Just download it free. Time sync. That's it there. Yeah. Just see if you can download it, and that automatically checks it. Somebody in the stream mentioned it to me, maybe, I don't know, maybe 9 months ago, 9 months, a year ago. And then just select it, and it just kept on top of it, because I was getting it all the time. A lot of the times just syncing the time would do it, but it stopped working, that did. So yeah, just download that. It's free, and that should hopefully keep it in check. Leg down, a couple of temps up. Yeah, that's probably a better option, isn't it? In fact, really, there is probably a break there if you want to do that. Yeah, there is. Channel break, new high. Trap that. I prefer a lower high, really. The slight concern is no, maybe not. In fact, channel with a break here on the second chart with the 1 tick push-up break, that's a lot clearer, isn't it? That's usually it's ever so slightly different, but that's a world apart, isn't it, really? So we kind of got a leg there, haven't we? Clearly with the break, bearish bar, yeah. So actually on that chart it looked okay, much better than there. You may have taken that, it depends. It's clearly 2 legs back. Just depends how you draw that second chart, really. Sorry, that little micro there. Where's that other chart gone? Which one was it? Which one was it? Was that one, was it? No. That was it there. Yeah. That looked a lot better, didn't it? I don't know whether I'd taken that one, though, but we've got a few dojis there. Isn't that an indicator sometimes of a turn? I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't have just taken that itself, although it may not be that bad. Little channel with a break, new high. I think the thing going for it is it's ticked above that bullish bar there and come down, so you'd probably expect that to come down. How big was that bar though? Because you wouldn't have got in on a limit there, so tick above it, tick below. It's about 3 1/4. I doubt you'd have got in on a limit order there. Yeah, I wouldn't have taken it based on this. It did look a lot better on that second chart though, I must say. Right, okay, so we're at the bottoms now. And that's an overshoot. Retrace enough to film it. Yeah, that's the trouble. It just moved and dropped, didn't it? I don't think it was terrible. I got to say, it looked better on the other chart. We'd had a little channel there, a little bit of sideways. I don't know. I've heard people, Mac, talking about dojis before. Sometimes they can be an indicator of a turn. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely say that's had a break. There's no argument there, really. You've got 3 little bars there. You can just see it cross over there and then push up. But I think the thing going for that is the fact that it triggered above there 1 tick and then came down sharpish. So, yeah, I don't think it's terrible, is it? I'd have preferred to get in on a limit order there, though, because I won't want to risk that. Let's have a look. What's the difference between the 2 tick bars? Okay. So some people have 2 charts just to give them confirmation. So how to get it to look slightly different, it's something to do with an offset. So if you go into your data here and I'll tell you what, let's do it on this one first. So let's put that up there. So if I go into my data series here, I have 7 days. Normally I have 5 days. I don't know why there's 7 in there. I have 5 days and I have break at end of day selected. So that's on my main chart. So on the second chart, I have the opposite. I have 3 days and end of day deselected. And when you apply that, there's a slight difference. It's basically the same chart, but there's a slight difference. Now, sometimes when we sort of have a bearish bar here, if it doesn't look just right or not quite right, we tend to avoid it. But it doesn't mean it's a bad trade or it's not going to go down. Well, that's the beauty of having that second chart. You can just have a quick glance at it. And if it looks much better on that chart, you can take the trade. Now, I know traders like Taylor from Top Pick Trading. He uses it. I think there's a few others. I've not really used it much myself. I was aware of it, but I didn't realise how different it was until I started having it. But it just gives you a sort of another opinion, really. But yeah, that's the only difference. So if you want to have a go at it, just duplicate your chart and then go in and just change it to 3 days. I mean, that's the normal. Some people have 3, some people have 5, some people have 7. But I think that's the key. So break at end of day. I don't know why it does what it does, but it does. So on your second chart, deselect that and just drop that down to 3. And then you'll see a slight difference. It's not always a huge difference, but the trouble is even a few ticks is the difference between taking a trade and not taking a trade. You see that there? See, we've got to check. It's a bit clearer there. You can see it, but I get some traders, I probably used to do it myself, I'd include that bar there when really you can clearly see those 3 fit in that micro trend and we have a little bit of sideways and up. So we've already had a break of that channel, although it's small, but there it's much clearer. So just sometimes, you know, these bars, so there's a little triple test there, pretty clear there, isn't it? Leg down, nice triple test, and it came down. But on the on here, it's not as clear. So we got the same 2 bars up like that. That's not a triple test, is it really? You may, but there it is. But you've still got the same sort of picture. That bar there it looks better on here than it does here. So having the 2 charts that are more or less identical, but the difference between the few ticks can make the difference between getting into a trade and getting out of a trade, and traders seems to work for them. So it's just something I'm just sort of looking at really and playing around with. And if you get something that looks okay, but the signal bar, sometimes these signal bars, they come bearish and then they retrace a bit, and that just puts that seed of doubt in your mind. Let's have a look. How about Black Bay Trading? He has not posted? No, he hasn't. I believe somebody told me, I think he lost his mother. And I think from then on he hasn't come back, and I don't know why, because as far as I know he's got 20 PA accounts. I think he'd not traded them. I think he'd built them up over a few months. So I'll be surprised if he doesn't come back. But I think some people may trade, but they might not stream for a bit. I don't know. I get some people, maybe streaming doesn't work for them. I don't know. To be fair, I feel a bit uncomfortable now when I trade without stream, strangely enough. I think sometimes a stream can make you more accountable. And I tend to talk through my process, and that's what I'm like anyway. So for me, it works. It's kind of all I've known really, since I, referring to Black Bay. Let me open up Black Bay Trading. I'll get it up now. I'll have a look. See if he's not. I don't think he's posted something. Black Bay Trading. And that's him there. So his videos, the last one was 2 months ago. I'll knock the sound down, but if you look, he's usually got his, or has he lost some? He may have lost some. Has he lost some? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm pretty sure he had 20 of them. But yeah, that was the last day 3 months ago. So I don't know what he's up to. But he did lose his mother, and I lost mine about 1.5 years ago. So it's not it's not a good time really. So that might be why he's had a bit of time off. So yeah, it's not a good time. So, and he's just not come back since. But if anybody does know him, just give him my best, in my regards. He's a nice fella. I got to say, he's probably one of the hardest working traders I know. I went for a stage of doing about 8 hours a day. That's all he ever does, about 8 hours a day. So he doesn't half put the hours in. I sent him a message once. I said, the amount of hours you put in, you deserve to be a trader, because he does. He really bumps the hours up, and that's the key, really. Loads of hours, and more hours, really, more chart time. But I think sometimes when you actually move on to PA, I think less is more. I think it is for me. 3 hours seems to work nice for me. I have considered coming back and doing a little bit more, and I may do in time. If it has improved a little bit, there is a few more setups now, so it has improved a little bit. But it did get to the stage where I was struggling to find a couple of setups in a week, so it may have been a case of having to come back. I took one on, done for the day. Yeah, that's another point as well. I think if you can get one trade in a day, I'd say go and enjoy your life, because one trade in a day, the way things are at the moment, I think it's a good result. And at least you know you're walking away green. So one and done, I think it's a good option. I know he does one. I know I've spoke to Marco before. He likes to just do the one and done, I think. I don't think he does many more. But yeah, I think one and done. One and done is a good option. I think that's what I tend to do, really. In all fairness, I like to get a trade. I know Kev does as well. I think he's a one and done guy, and then he spends his time then on his boat. I think that's that's the life, to be honest with you. Get in, get your profit, and get out and enjoy your life. Now we're continuing down here, so I'm going to extend this bottom a little bit because I can, and it'll work. Now that's a bit of an overshoot there. I don't mind taking it down to there. I think taking it down any more, mind you, there could be a spike in channel there. In fact, I had to go at that before. What does that look like now? It's hard to say, really. Let's put it right at the top. Trouble is, it could work, but then that would be a break, wouldn't it? And 2 pushes down, so I don't know. Let's just put it back there for now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's an overshoot, I think. Excuse me. Right, let's have a look at yesterday. There is support down there somewhere. I think really yesterday and today, especially after that initial push, just in all fairness, just looks like a larger range. Probably go a little bit higher, but yeah, bounce. Tops are around about the same as well. Yeah, it does look like we're just in a range, so that's an overshoot. So I think there's a good chance we could push up from here. Yeah, we're really just ranging at the moment, I think, in all fairness. I want to fill some of this. Certainly a gap there, isn't there? I could fill that, to be honest with you. So far out. Tell you what I will say. I wonder. Just wonder whether we've had a break and we're coming down. Chris. How many ticks do you aim for when you trade? I like to get 2 points. Sometimes I'll take 1.5, 6 ticks if I don't think, if I think it's a bit rangy. But I like to try and get $200, so 8 ticks. I have mine set to 10. And in a perfect world, I'd like to try and get 10, which is 2.5 points, but it depends. It depends on the setup, really. I mean, if we have a leg down like this and a nice triple test, you'd expect another leg down then. So under those circumstances, I'll usually go for 10 ticks, 2.5 points. But I think 8 ticks is the sweet spot. There's very, very few trades where you're not going to get those, as long as obviously it's a good setup. I'm just wondering whether there is something larger there. Maybe with a break. I don't know. Did your first ever live trade today on the MES? You're on the MES. Good on you. That's sensible, that is. I went straight for the ES. MES is much better, much more forgiving, much less risk. And when you're still, getting still used to trading, you're much better to just have very little risk. That's the sensible way of doing it. I, like many others, thought it was easy, and it was, and you just dive straight in at the deep end, and you get stuck. But yeah, that makes sense. 6 ticks, that's perfect. I think 6 ticks is the minimum. I know people like Marco and Daniel Kushin go for 6 ticks. But what I'd say to you is when you take your trades, as long as it's a good setup, just make a little note of how many ticks it would have got. Yeah. And if you find that 98% of all your trades make over 2 points, then you can start to think, okay, well, if you're going for 6 ticks and you go for 8, theoretically, you're making 25% extra profit, yeah? So every 4 trades, you made the equivalent of an extra trade. So if it works out that 98 out of 100 trades, and I think you'll be surprised that it will, make 8 ticks instead of 6, it's an absolute no-brainer then to go to. What the shit was that? Sorry about that. Jumped out my skin. Yeah, then it's a no-brainer then. So I'll maybe jump. It's all right, it's my old desk. Part of it's just fallen away from the wall. Oof, that's got my old ticker going. But yeah, just make a note. Make a note of how many of your trades would have made. Just make a note how many it made, and you'll be surprised. You'll start to get an average picture. I think I worked out once that over a period of 2 months, 85% of my trades went for 6 points or more. So it's surprising how many they go for. And also, I looked at Max charts going back for a 2-week period, and he'd marked, I think, 105 trades. 103 of them went for over 2 points. So, I still don't know why Mac goes for a point, to be honest with you. But, he's been doing it years. That's his way. It works for him. So he'll make his money on his runners. And that's where he'll make his profits. That 1 point is just his basic wage. He'll make the money on the bigger stuff. I'm still not sure what's going on with this sale. I was thinking we were coming down, channel break new high. But there was also a possibility of a slightly larger channel there. in which case we may get 2 legs and a push-up, so I'm still not sure whether I think this thing's going up or not. But the only problem is we've come from the bottom and we've come to here, so I mean you can always make a straight line touch 2 points, can't you? But I kind of liked it because it sort of didn't look too bad there, but I just want to be careful not taking a short here just in case it does that. I don't know whether it's going to. But this is just a no trade area because I really don't know whether we're going to break this channel and come down or whether we're going to break the bigger channel and go up. So it's just a sitter. Just going to sit and just let that sort itself out. So now that's interesting. So we got some touches there and there. So it does just look like a big range, doesn't it, really? I did wonder whether we'd fill a lot of this. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll push up to here and come down some more. But it's a big old gap, that, so I'm surprised if we don't fill it. I'm not sure whether that is an overshoot or whether we're going from the tops and the bottoms. I kind of like the way it fits along that midline, but I'm a bit on the fence here, so... trading 1 contract on the MES. That's sensible. What are you risking, $5? It's neither in nor there, really, is it? It's good to have a little bit of skin in the game because it does just give you that little bit of risk, and I think it's enough, and build it up slowly, and it saves you going from being completely relaxed on a sim to being scared bloody witless trading money. So I think that's sensible. If I was going to tell myself, a 3.5-year-old, 3.5 years ago myself, I'd have said exactly the same thing. And Mac will tell you that as well. Get on a after you've been on a sim for a while, get onto the MES and try and build a nice little small amount. And focus on things like discipline as well. Sit back and carefully pick your trades, pick the best ones. I know when you haven't been trading long, you want to try and take everything you can. And that's what you want to be doing on a sim. But once you start to get that little bit of experience then, and you move on then to a little bit of money, then just carefully pick and select your trades. Anything you're not sure about, leave. And you'll slowly start to build an account. I should have done that, really. But I thought I knew best. And I ended up losing a stack of money for it. This is interesting. I've given up on the bigger channel now. This looks like a channel here with a break. And there's kind of a second entry short. Well, maybe not. There's a second entry short. That's kind of a lower high. And it's trapped some longs there. See, I'd think this would be likely to do this. Trouble is, it is congested there, and I may have rung this. We could have a leg and then up. And I hate it when it's working slow. When it's working slow, there's sort of a mixed feeling, some uncertainty, which means it could do bloody anything really. We got a leg up there and a pullback, see, so you just don't know. I've been going an hour. Okay, I'm just going to take a few minute break and make a cup of tea. So I shall pop that there, and I'll be 3 to 5 minutes. Okay. Have I missed anything? Not really. Nothing you can do really here, is there? Ah, that's interesting. We are pushing up, so there probably is a larger channel there. Trouble is, kind of looks like it's almost trying to suck you in short there, doesn't it? So I would say... probably something larger there with a break, 2 legs back, and eventually a new high. Leg and leg. Okay. Quite glad I didn't think about a short. Not that there was an option. I was listening to the stream yesterday, and there was someone in the chat talking about they're having trouble with a lack of discipline. Is that person here now? I was going to share how I cured my... Anybody saying they had a problem with discipline yesterday? I think probably everybody to a degree. Everybody does at some point. But yeah, share away if you want. I mean, you could get your wife sat next to you with your bowls in her hand. And if you decide your patience goes, she just gives them a little squeeze. That'd probably work. Is this still a channel? Maybe. I found a massive leverage that some prop firms offer make it too easy to size up to make money back. Wilson Shish. Leverage that some prop firms offer made it too easy to size up, make money back fast, result in blown accounts. Yeah, they do, don't they? I mean, the one thing I know that's available at the moment is so choose a prop firm with lower leverage. Yeah, that's a possibility. I know some do. I think probably Apex is probably one of the most, isn't it? 10 contracts. Trouble is, if you go 10 contracts, and trust me, there have been many times where I went 10 contracts. And the trouble is, you wipe out your trades so quickly. Trouble is, you could say, there's a new low there. You could say there's a second entry short there. Trouble is, this kind of looks like at the moment that it may be going a little bit sideways. So, do you want to really trade into that midline? Tough on that. Yeah, I agree. I'm on the fence here. Could be something like that. I'm not getting involved in here anyway at the moment. I like the fact that it is hitting there and there, I suppose. You know, the bit that's got me is if this is the bottom, we've pushed down and only got so far. There's a bit of a distance, and when that happens, a lot of the time we can get a break. So we just sort of it's hard to say at the moment. Might be just confusing myself, but when ES and MES move, does it more or less do the same? I believe it does, yeah. It is very similar, but I'm not quite sure. I've never really done much on the MES, to be honest with you. I've done bits on it, but not much. Yeah, Brant will tell you. What does Matt recommend? What does Matt recommend? Is it 1,000 tick chart for the MES or 1,500? Can't remember. He does recommend a change. Don't go for the 2,000 tick chart. It's either 1,000 or 1,500. I've heard him mention it a few times, but not for a while. Oh, you believe it's 800? Okay. I mean, there's definitely less volume through it. That's for certain. So you certainly would want to go lower. So yeah, I wouldn't do the TikTok. I wouldn't do the. I'll tell you what. I don't think I've got the MES here. No, they're not really, are they? They're never going to be really. They're going to be very close, but. But I mean, price action is price action, so it'll pretty much work the same way anyway, as long as you take the same sort of setups. Whether it's 800 or 1,000 or 750, I don't think it's going to make a massive difference. But I think it's a sensible decision to go onto the MES, because when you learn the bait, I would always say, I know you're itching to, people are itching to trade. I would say really, you want to be spending a year on a sim. I know it sounds like a lot, but it really does take a lot longer than you think this. But also you do need to experience pressure as well. So I would say spend 12 months on a sim, and then maybe you need to start exposing yourself to a little bit of the psychological side. So then I would probably get an evaluation, but just the one, and then trade it on an MES. Play around with it on the MES and try to get some consistency, because if you can't get consistency in the MES, you're not going to do it on the ES. And that's why I think a lot of people blow a lot of money, because they still try to trade like traders with big pockets, sort of thinking that they can do it when you really can't. So it's much better to do it with a lot less risk. And I would say, until you can get a PA account to pay money, never get more than one. I would always stick to one evaluation, because people get so many, and I've done it myself, and the trouble is, if you're getting 10 and you think, oh, if I pass 10 I'll have 10 PAs, you won't be able to psychologically manage 10 PAs. It'll just cripple you. So it makes sense just to get one, because if you're copy trading 10, if you make one bad trade on one account and you blow one account, you blow all 10. So it's I'm not telling people what to do, but my experience tells me the best way to do it is to keep those losses minimum. Otherwise, you can cripple yourself. You get to the stage where you can't afford to learn to trade in a way. You know what I mean? So I would say save your money. Just do one at a time, and then you've got some money to trade then when you get it. But in all fairness, I'd say realistically, you're looking at 3 years before you start to get some consistency. I would say so. roughly something like that. Based on my experience, how I've done it. But there are people that's going to take a lot longer, and there are people that are going to do it quicker. I believe people like Daniel. I think he's been trading about a year and a half longer than me. And when I came on the scene, he'd only been really doing it a year and a half, and he was making money. So, some people pick it up easy, and others you never quite know. But I would say stick on an MES, and after 12 months, if you want to go at the money side of it, you do need to get that experience of having this, dealing with the psychological side, but just stick to one evaluation. Even if you want to trade the ES, just stick to one evaluation, because it makes no sense. It doesn't make sense to throw 10 away at a time when you can only throw one away. But you do have to have experience of risk, because ultimately that is the thing that is going to take you the longest to change that psychological side. You think it's just skill, but it's not. You can have the most skill in the world. If you can't cope with the psychological side, and trust me, it does. It rips you apart. I mean, it was only 3 months ago I was blowing account after account. I could make some money, but as soon as I started taking a loss or two, I couldn't cope with it, and I ended up blowing it. Now, I can get to the stage where I can take a loss. Although I don't like doing it, I have no desire to want to carry on. I want to super protect my accounts, but it's taken me 3 years of trading every day and chucking away money after money, and all that crippling crap and horrible feelings that come along with it to get to where I am now, which is why I've increased up to the 20 accounts. But it can cripple you. It can emotionally drain you. Like Sam, I think Sam's coming back. He had a tough time and needed a couple of weeks off. I tried to fight through it, and I think that went against me. So I'd say if you're finding it really stressful and frustrated and angry, you need to take a short break, whether it's a few days, a week or two. But Sammy started, he did things exactly the same as me. He made a couple of payments and you think, great. And then you take a bit more, you maybe take 2 or 3 more accounts or 3 or 4 accounts, and then you lose a couple and you haven't got that psychological strength and you blow it. And Sam's took a break from it. Sensible thing to do. Clear your mind, then come back fresh. But it's 2 steps backwards. Sorry, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's very, very baby steps, and it really takes time to build up that experience. So yeah, MES, sensible, absolutely sensible. Rhythmic keeps flicking off. Have I stopped the NQ? Yeah, I have, mate, yeah. It did help me from time to time, but it also kept me out of some trades. I think I got a bit too much paranoid. I wanted to see 2 tradable charts at the same time, and I think that was rapidly reducing the amount of the trades I was taking. And another thing as well, if I had a setup that looked a little bit riskier, if it looked good on the NQ, I'd take it. Well, in all fairness, if it is a bit risky, I shouldn't have been taking it. So, yeah, all in all, I've decided to not use it anymore. Took the fail second entry in the second short. Yeah, there is a second entry short there. The failure's there, actually. I'm just not sure about this, and the bit that's making me keep out of this is this here. We're bouncing. So, the failure is there, isn't it? Trouble is, it's in the middle of that, and at the moment, I don't know whether it's going to go up or come down, because there is a massive gap to be filled from yesterday. So this thing could keep coming down. So, but also it's bouncing, and if you look back, you can see where it's bouncing. Maybe not so much there, but there it's clearly bouncing and pushing up, so it could go up. So you don't know whether you're going to get into one of these and it's going to hightail. So at the moment, I'm a bit unsure. It's a bit choppy. You got 9 ticks, risk free on a runner. Yes, runner's something I've never taken yet. I think Max said what does he say? The gap fill, yeah. I have a feeling that gap's going to be filled, but you never know. The way this thing is slowly grinding down, but I think Max says don't use more than 20% to have a runner. So if you've got 5 contracts, or 5 contracts, then use 1 contract as a runner. But I will say, I see some traders showing their runners and they'll go for 4 or 5 or 6 trades and make nothing. So I'm a bit on the fence sometimes as to whether to go for one, because I go for 2 points anyway. So I see Thomas Wade sometimes when he puts his. Sometimes I've seen it go for 6 or 8 points and it comes back and gets his runner. He doesn't move it. So I think if you're a good chart reader, if you're someone like Mac, you're going to get a lot more benefit out of runners. But yeah, something I've never really done at the moment. Never used them. I've used them in a sim in the past, playing around, but not at all for sort of any money really. Yeah, if this thing does start dropping below this, once it gets below there, I would then expect that gap to get filled. I'll tell you what, because we're getting these big sweeping pullbacks. It'd be interesting to see where this comes. So if we say there, that's going to take, look at that, that's more or less where the thing started. Yeah, it is, almost to the tick or two. So, in fact, I can, yeah. I can go down a little bit to there. Now look at that, there's that. Yeah, look, we had that little stem. I'm assuming we had that stem and then it went from there, but look how that line is sitting on top of there. So I think there's a good chance we're going to get this. We need to obviously drop below all this stuff first and get below there. But I think there's a good chance. We got this leg down and we got these few attempts higher, 4 attempts higher really. So I think it's likely to going to come down and fill that gap. And it's weird how I've just put that there and all of a sudden that takes us to, you know what I mean? Thomas Wade took a trade there. Second entry short and it's worked as well. We do seem to, we've had these pushes up. That one gets lower. That one gets lower than that. So it does seem to be doing this, doesn't it? So yeah, Thomas Wade took that. Why didn't I? Leg and a leg. Actually, it's not a bad trade. I think I'm just looking at this as a whole and I'm not sure whether we're going out. Okay, we broke down below there now and below there. So I think the chance to this, we may come back and retest this and then come down. But I think there's a good chance this gap's going to get filled now. Small pullback, is what I'm looking for. Yours is different, is it? Have you tried reloading your historic, have you? Little pullback and down, I think. I like that. Nice channel there, but I want a little second entry short off this. I'm not sure whether that is a little break or not. On his Discord, bud. I'm on his Discord. I joined up for the monthly thing. I pay $105 per 3 months. So I like the way he posts his chart literally every 5 minutes. And there's some other good traders in there as well. And Marco's in there as one of the mods, and Taylor from Top Pick Trading's in there as well. So I still sort of have confidence issues as well. I like to see what other people are doing, more experience than me. I think that's my main issue lately is confidence. I know my skill level's okay; it's enough to make money, but I think it's partly to do with trading larger PAs as well, which is why I tend to split it into 10 and 10. So if that is a break and we push down and this thing is now moving higher, so I'm not sure what's going on now. The second entry short. That was the second entry. Is it that one? That one there. We got a low here, so there's a new low there after this. Second entry short. Sorry. Lower high, it is my mistake. That's the second entry short. There's the lower high he took. I didn't click on what's it, but yeah, lower high. But we've rejected off this line nicely, moved across, pushed up, pulled back, finished on its low. So I just wasn't sure what I was seeing here. See, it just started to go a bit choppy, and when it is choppy like this, I tend to avoid around the middle, because out of experience, this is where I tend to get chopped up the most. So I tend to either pick the top or pick the bottom. But see, if this is part of this channel, you can see this. It's losing a bit of momentum, isn't it? So we may get a correction before we pull down. See, I've got that down there, so we could get something like that and something like that. So I consider that sort of one move higher. And then consider that sort of a second move higher. So it's hard to say really. So we've got to push up a couple of legs down, bounce and a break. So we could have a, yeah, I'd like to see more of a correction before this thing continued down. Sorry, but if we can bounce somewhere around about here and push strongly through that EMA, then I think the chance of it going, but you can see this, we're coming away from this channel, depending on whether you think it's a channel or not. There may be an overshoot, it's hard to say. You could put this to here and bring this to down, in which case we've had a break, so we could get a correction. So there's a bunch of different scenarios here. So I'm not 100% sure that that channel is right, but what I will say is Thomas Way's got it exactly the same way, so that gives me a little bit of extra confidence that it's somewhere close. He hasn't got that as a break, and he's got it up there, so it kind of visually looks okay. You can see it working along that midline, maybe a bit lower, but lots of traders sort of gapped to the downside and went short off the lows. Broken now, the market's hunting for that. Yeah, I don't think it'll get up to this high. I think this is where it's going to collapse. Where's it got above? See, I think that'll hold. I'd like to see this now push strongly through that EMA, you know, which exactly it is. So I want it to close below that EMA, and if it does, from that high, I think that's where it's going to continue down, but I want it to close. That's close enough, I think. We're making multiple attempts to go higher. So we've already broken this as well, so this looks bearish to me. So that is a break, isn't it? Would you call that a correction? It kind of is. We could come down and do that again, but I don't think that high. I think that high will hold, I do. I think that's the line in the sand, unless this comes back up and takes it out. But if this pushes down to the bottom here, that for me is a safe area. We've had a little small channel with a break at a new high there. Same setup again here. or we could just make a new low for this, and then it may push up. But I'd like to see a new low from the channel, but once it gets so far down there, I think it may come back, retest this. But I would say traders are looking to fill that gap, especially after that big push down. Surely big push down, a correction, and followed by another leg. Let's have a look anyway. But no, I think that is safe down to these lows. Are you having BOD on this? EOD, you mean? Not on this. I'm not. It is selected. Yeah. On the other chart, it's not. Yeah. So this is my main chart, and it is selected. To have the offset, the tick offset, is on my second little chart. I've got it deselected, so there's no there, and I've gone down to 3 days, and that offset just gives you a slight difference. So if you've got a bearish bar here that may have a bit of a stem and you think, oh, I'm not sure about that, but it looks better on there, then I would tend to go for it. So I'd probably use it as a second opinion, really, and I think that's how people tend to use them. I know that's how Taylor uses his. I hate that. I hate it when it does that. I lose the height. Damn thing, I hate that. Tell you what. That is the second chart, isn't it? Maximize. That's it, yeah. Okay, brilliant. See, we could. There is a possibility of that. And that again. That's our first break, isn't it? So we could have a break and another leg up before we come down. Let's see. Yeah, I just think it's a bit of a pullback after that push below the EMA, so I'm all right with that. Not that it matters at the moment, I'm not in a trade, but we may get 2 legs. But I still think, I'm thinking bearish at the moment until I see something else, and after that big push down, I'd at least expect the lows to break. But once we get, if these lows break, we're down below here again, so I think the next natural target is down here. Now, we're probably going to zigzag up and down to there, but once we get below that line, I was hoping we'd come back and retest it, but I think it needed maybe more of a correction, but look at that now. Little bull bar there, which got triggered and come down. That's a good sign, I think. That's a good sign. I think the bears are more in control of this at the moment. A leg and a leg, which should take us down here, below the lows. And then once we get below here, it's in the lap of the gods, and I still think it's more likely to come down and fill the gap than go up, but you never know, do you? There's a failure there. Oh, it's very tempting. Ooh, I'm not. It's just a little bit congested for me. It's just a little bit unclear. I think it's likely to break those lows, but it's just a bit unclear, and that's what's keeping me out of this trade. If we get below here, I think it'll come down then. But it's a little bit too congested for me, and this is a bit unclear. I know what I think, but I'm not basing it my decision on what I think when the picture at the moment is telling me it's a bit congested. Because technically that little channel, we've already had a break in a new low by tick, so but I think this is a little bit risky. I think it'll more likely work. But I'm just sitting tight here. That's not what you want to see. So if you'd got him one tick below there, you wouldn't have got a point out of there. It would have to push through, and that's not what you want to see. That's going to stop that out for sure. I'll be amazed if it doesn't. Mind you, we could get a triple test, but that, to me, the way that's triggered down and pushed up, it's got to take that out, surely. So although it is a failure and it's kind of a nice bearish bar and it's quite likely going to break these lows, if you've got that slightly wrong, there you go. If you've got this slightly wrong, the reason that's kept me out of that is just this is a bit unclear to me exactly what's going on. There is a possibility you could have had a break already. You know, if you tighten that to there, you could say we've had a break and a new low. So it's just a bit unclear, and I think the sensible thing to do if it's unclear is just to stay out of it. One thing you can guarantee is you won't lose a penny, but if you get in there, if I'd have taken that trade, say, what was it, 9 ticks, 10, 11, that's $275. I'd be down $2,700 thinking, why the hell did I take it when I could clearly see it's congested? And it's unclear, so it's too risky, that is. You wouldn't have got anything out of that, really. If you'd have gotten a tick below it, see, which is about there, you wouldn't have, you'd have got nothing. It's just not worth it. and you'd a wrist 275. So I'd have lost $2,700 there. When the little voice inside my head is saying, "Don't take that trade. It's unclear. One, this is congested, and two, this is unclear." I think I'm in the day because only once in this chart. You wish you didn't reload your historic. I don't know if you can unreload it, can you? I don't know. See, we may have two legs like that. That's more of a correction. But if you got that slightly wrong, it's quite hard to read this. I kind of like that because it's working the midline, but which means we could have had a small break there, in which case we've already made a new low. But it's unclear. I don't like this. It's not clear. It's not really telling me nothing. All right, let's see whether this does come down now. One, two, three. I'm trying to get it visually looking nice as well. I think you have to assume that's a little break. May not be. It's hard to say, but this to me looks like just two legs. We've had this channel down here, maybe a small break and a new low. Two attempts to go higher. More of a correction. I still think we're going to come down and attempt to fill this big gap. I do. I mean, it's a fair old size, isn't it? Channel like that. A few pushes up and then down we come. Let's see. It's only my thoughts. It's my gut feeling. I'm not confident enough to trade on it. Yep, here can is the start balance of 50k. Where you finish? No, it's 50k, but it starts at 50k, and you've got $2,500 of drawdown to play with effectively. Yeah, it would be nice. It would be nice, wouldn't it? If you finished, if you started at 53,000, that'd be lovely, wouldn't it? Trouble is, if that happens, you're technically above the $2,600, which means you could take a $2,000 payout. Yeah, they're not going to do that. It would be nice. I agree. Would be nice. Wishful thinking there, mate. It would be nice. Right. Okay. So we've got three touches here now. So let's see what goes on here. That to me is a correction. I would like to see it break below here. Whether it would or not, you know. That's in the lap of the gods. That's a bit beyond me. Yeah, see, if that is a break and a new low, we've come back and tried to retest it and push up. Was that possible? But I don't think so. Yeah, they are, yeah. That one's gone. Can't see there being much up there. Mind you, having said that, that looks to me like a little spike. A spike in a channel up there. Yeah, it is brutal, isn't it? Mind you, the last few days or the last week has been a little bit more improved. There has been a few setups around because we went for a phase where there just seemed to be nothing. It was getting a bit concerning, which is why I started to focus a little bit more on that CL. Just to at least give me a second option to try and earn a trade. Your bars look different. I have reloaded, mate. I'll reload again. See if this helps you. Is that any different? Are they different? I can't tell now. That was more or less the same, wasn't it? Has that helped you, bud? So, channel with a little break and a new high. So let's see what happens now. It's different now. Sorry, Terry. I might have helped chat out, but I've wronged a load of you. Okay, if everyone reloads now, we may all get the same. I haven't tuned in for a while, but glad to see those. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Thank you. I think the one good thing when you get to 20 is you stop spending money for a while, so that's the bonus. My bank account is just it's evaluation after evaluation after evaluation. It's just one after another. All of a sudden, it's just stopped. I think my bank think I'm probably deceased. I'll be surprised if they send me a sympathy card. So let's see what happens now. Are we in the middle of a massive reversal or not? There is a bit of support there. We've had this channel with a break and a new high. In fact, I'll go as far as say a break and 2 pushes to a new high. Let's see what happens. It's hard to read this, which is why I just haven't got into any type of trade. I did look at something there, that one there, a second entry short or a failure. Looked a bit different before I reloaded, but I'm unsure what's going on here, whether we've already had a break here. You could draw this channel so many different ways. And it's you know, sometimes if I'm just not sure about this, I'll put it where I think, but I think it's safe to assume that it could have had a break. There's multiple ways of drawing this channel. But yeah, I think the simple answer is if it's not clear or you're not sure, I just stay out of it. I got no issues without taking a trade. I'd rather, if I'm not sure, rather than just take a risk, I'd rather just sit tight. If I can get 2 trades, if I can get 2, maybe 3 trades in a week per account, that'll get me the best part of $2,000 per account per month. And even at very worst, even half of that, it's still $1,000 a month. Once you get your account up to maybe 5,000, even on a bad month, you should be earning 1,000 per account. That's $20,000 a month. So there's plenty of money to be earned, really. So I'd rather sit back and just wait for those ones that literally, I like the ones where I don't even have to think. I'll just jump straight on them. But the ones where I have to think and I'm not sure, I think the sensible thing to do, really, is to just to leave it alone, I think. To continue lower nets. Yeah, this looks like a bunch of efforts to go higher. I'm still thinking lower at the moment, just purely for the fact of that gap. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's pretty much ranging, isn't it? Oh, high confirmation. Yeah, it would be nice. I moved that to where I thought there was the most touches there, because that also acts as potential support or resistance, rather. But I mean, realistically, it could completely reverse, couldn't it, and just continue on up. I really got no idea at the moment. I'd like to think, my gut tells me, I'd like to see it push down for that gap, but it may do it later, it may do it tomorrow, it may do it next week. I mean, we're at new highs here. Same again. Well, yesterday, I think that was all-time highs yesterday. In fact, I usually see once we've hit all-time highs, there's 3 times we've hit all-time highs, we could get quite a big correction. Could be a leg down, another leg down. That would be a nice correction and ready to move up again, and it would fill that gap. So, you know, a lot of this sort of stuff kind of makes sense. 1, 2, 3. We made 2 attempts to push higher, and after that news, couple of legs down to fill that gap, and then slow sort of growth up again. But let me just put that there. I like to keep on top of that, so I know it's coming. Highs. Lock. Extend right. There we go. In fact, that second chart, in fact, we've got a little lower high there, but it hasn't triggered. Leg break, new high, lower high. It's not triggered, is it? Same spike and channel, but just slightly different here, and that's just with that slight offset. I kind of like the way it triggered that. I mean, that's about as high as it can go. Let it trigger and come down, but then all of a sudden it moved over and so little spike in channel with a break. 1, 2 pushes up to a new high. A retest. I like the way it's bounced twice off support. That finished nice and bearish, and there's a lower high. That's about as good as it can look. See if this triggers. There's certainly room to the EMA. I would probably more take a failure there, but I'm still unsure about this. I really like to see that gap fill, but you just don't know here. We could get a full-blown reversal, couldn't we, really? For all we know. I do like the fact that we've made a little double top there and a bearish bar. I'm just putting that out there out of curiosity. But if this pushes up above there, then I think then we're more likely to work up. Just going to ditch that for now. Second push to an extreme. High confirmation of failure. Now what we need to do is trap this bolt and then drop like a stone, which I don't think we're going to do, are we? May do. Excuse me, sorry about that. I'm yawning away. Put it this way, I would not want to take that bar there into support. So if I took that, I would expect that to lose, which tells me I'd pretty much think this is going to come down and take that stop out. sometimes that's how I look at a setup. I think, is that likely to make money or lose money? It's got loss written all over it. It has right at the tops. Why would you want to take a trade like that? Right at the tops into support. What happens? It triggers you for maybe half a point. Comes down and breaks below that bar. Let's have a look. Unless it traps the short. I don't think it will. So if you took that there, one tick above, you wouldn't even got off. You'd have got off a point because it's got to push through. So there's nothing there. That to me, I'd expect that to lose. Mind you, look at this now. All of a sudden, it's triggered below that bear bar. I mean, if that goes above there, it's game over. I think it's a full-blown reversal. But it just goes to show when it's doing this, it's just hard to read. Have we had a break? Have we not had a break? Are we still going to come down and make a new low? You know, sometimes, going back to when I first started looking at these charts 3 years ago, a lot of times when we had a break, we'd make a new low straight away. But so many times now we may go up, we may have another leg, we may go sideways, and then eventually make it. But sometimes we just go right the way around the bloody planet before we decide to make a new low. But it's just, I'm not sure about this. Is that an overshoot? You know, it's so hard to say. It's a tricky chart, isn't it? Because we've been thrown a few curveballs. I hate it when it goes slow and just doesn't give you the picture. It just goes to show there's some confusion there. I talked about this before. There used to be a program on TV years ago, about 20 years ago. Some of you older guys will remember it. There was a cat. There was a guy who lived in a flat, and every morning he used to open his door, and there was a cat there, and he used to get this paper, and this paper told him the news for the day. So he knew what was going to happen, so he could try and save people. Someone will remember what it's called. I keep, sometimes when I'm out walking, I have these little daydreams that I get that with a chart. That I open the front door in the morning and there's a little sheet of paper there showing me the chart for the day, so I know how to trade it. I know it's a bit sad, but yeah, this is going to take that out. There is a lower high there. It's tempting, that is, but it's also congested. I forget what the program was called. Is it something news? I can't remember. But yeah, he had the newspaper with the news for the day, so he knew in advance that he could, try and save a few people. So are we going to get below there? We've got to. Early edition, that was it. Can you imagine? Wouldn't that be nice if we could open our front door and there'd be a little folder showing you the chart for the day? It was early edition. Yeah, you got it, mate. You got it. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice if we knew what the chart... If we could have a screen above us and it would show us exactly what that chart was going to do for the day. Oh, you'd be able to make a fortune. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Apex would know what hit them. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? You start seeing what you want to see when it's like this. You do, don't you? It is very easy, isn't it? So, is that going to hold? I can't see how it's going to, surely. It is getting a bit sideways. It's getting a bit hard to know exactly what's going on, but I would love that. I would love to know what the chart was going to do before I traded it. You could just make a little note when you go short here for 10 contracts, go long here for 10 contracts. Apex would panic, wouldn't they, by the end of the day? Prefer I like Quantum Leap. It was good, Quantum Leap. I like Quantum Leap. You're showing your age now, aren't you? When was that right? Quantum Leap in the 80s, wasn't it? Mid-80s? Late 80s? Quantum Leap. They made some great programs then, didn't they? The A-Team was one of my favourites. I know it's sad, but there you go. Sam and Al, that's it. You remembered. Ziggy, wasn't it? And Ziggy was the little computer. Uh, Sorry about the barking. Newspaper girl. Hate this when it goes sideways. I wish they'd bring back some of the old So if you think about music, when I was sort of a teenager, was sort of 80s and 90s, we had great bands, and they brought the bands back. Yeah, as broke below there. You know, it's sort of this cultural thing, isn't it? This they're bringing all the old bands back. I know where I live in Shrewsbury. I think most years they have like the what's it concert where they have things like Duran Duran and Spandau Ballet and you know all the sort of the big groups back then. People love to see stuff back. So I don't know why they don't remake these old programs again, because some of them are they're great. But it is nice to see. I love seeing some of the old bands. I do. Just reminds you of your youth a bit. I mean, sometimes you think these old bands, when their times come, they're sort of, there's nothing to do, but people love it when they come back. Find the US launch session. Make a difference in price on the... Find the US... Oh, lunch session. To be honest with you, I'm not major aware of it. I don't even know what time. What time is it? Let me have a look. I usually have this. Some people say lunchtime in the US. What time? I don't even know what time they go, but there is part of the day, I suppose, that is a bit quiet. But what time are we now? So 11:52. So I'm assuming lunch will be what 12:30, 1 o'clock. But it's kind of been slow anyway. So, but yeah, some people do say. Oh, you really? Oh, brilliant. Yeah, I love seeing the old bands. They've got one this summer. It's in July, I think. Let me have a look. Where is it? I think it's in July now. Let's rock. Yeah, Saturday the 13th of July. They got. Let's have a look. Line up. I'll take my daughter to see this. Okay, they got Squeeze, Bananarama, Go West, Martin Kemp as a DJ, Nick Kershaw, XTC. What's the name from the Jam? Jason bloody Donovan. I don't know what he's in there. Altered Images, Kim Appleby, Red Box. Yeah, some of these old bands. I do like Squeeze. They're a good band. They were a real band. Yeah, some great bands there actually. Yeah, I like the 80s one. I went to one a few years ago. People like Spandau Ballet. Martin Kemp. I think he's there this year. But I'll tell you what I saw. A really good band that I saw local as well at one of these shows was... what's the Scottish brothers called? I've gone blank. They're called the Proclaimers. They were brilliant, actually. They did that. Was it one of the Shrek movies? Wasn't it? They did the music to one of the Shrek movies. What is going on here? Oh, do they really? 3D Hologram of ABBA. They were a great band, weren't they, around that time? Oh, look at this. There's a possible failure there. Trouble is, I like it trapping something, and I can't see how it's trapping some lungs apart from there, maybe. So I'm going to have to leave this. What I'm going to do is, let's say that, and then hope we get a downtrend to maybe retest these lows or break the lows. So I'm thinking if this is going to come down, more along the lines of that. I'm just not taking anything here just in case. Because regardless of anything, it's congested, and you just quite never know. In fact, on that second chart, it's looking even worse. It's looking a lot more sideways on here. There's a little bit more up and down, isn't there? Okay, we've broken below there now. Oh no, we haven't, not yet. Let's see what happens here. Trouble is, we could trigger below it and push up, fade the breakout. We may get trapped in the breakout. Yeah, there's nothing I can do here, unfortunately. It's congested, it's unclear. It would be risky going short there for me. I'm not saying it's not going to work, but see if this one triggers. It has done. Yeah, there is a failure there, but I don't like this. Not only that, you really want to be going short right at the EMA? Because prices come back to the EMA, it could come back and push higher. Could be a larger channel there, so it's just not worth it, really, is it? I mean, look at that. There is a possibility. You just never know. That to me looks like it's sucking in shorts, and this, I don't know, maybe it is. I'm going to say sometimes this goes like that, like that, like that, like that, and then turns. Okay, we're going to get this big drop now, are we? Now we're starting to get some volatility. I still like to fill this gap. That's strongly pushed down there now, so that's a good sign there. So that trade would have worked actually, but I have a feeling this thing is gonna drop. It's gonna, innit? See, if that was a little bit further down here, it might not be so bad. But ultimately, it's still a bit sketchy, isn't it? It's still a little bit congested. But if you could just catch a move like that, I mean, look at that, 7 points, 7.5 points. I'd be tempted to hold the damn thing as well. I would put it at break even. Obviously, you've got the what's it, apex thing, haven't you? You got your drawdown, which you don't want to lose, but if you can put that to break even on your own account and have a completely risk-free trade, I think they could get a great move here. So the way that's moving, this is what I'd be expecting to break these lows. And we've had a break and we've made an attempt, but we need a little bit more of a correction. That's a bigger correction. Clearly struggling, clearly hitting support there. I was tempted there, but another bit that kept me out was this. It kind of is a break and a new high, and then we're working lower, but it's more just pure congestion there. So leg up, kind of looks like a bull bar. You just don't know, dear. We may get that drop out, another drop out, and then off we go. So I thought it was a risky that. I don't like to take risky trades, but it did work nicely, but you don't know it's going to do that at the time. My only slight concern here. we're at the bottom, so a second entry short here could land you in trouble potentially. Mind you, if this is sideways with an overshoot, mind you, we had one there, haven't we? Ooh, this is tempting. This is tempting. Yeah, the thing is, we've had a break, haven't we, at this, an overshoot, and a lot of times we'll get one the opposite end. It does look like a hidden second entry short, but I'm just staying out of this at the moment. I'm not really a fan of trading around the centre, especially as we've come off this bottom. So it's bouncing off 2 points. You took that, did you? Yeah, I don't think it's terrible. I'm not a fan of trading around here. It's where I got chopped up the most. But yeah, you've got 2 points there. As soon as that broke below there, there's your 2 points there. That's 2.25, so it pushed through. So it was good for 2 points. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down more. I would like to see it break this, to be honest with you, these lows. The trouble is, it's just below that midline, and you never quite know, because of this bounce off here, whether it's going to come down, trigger that, and then push up. That's one of the things that I'm always cautious about. But what I will say is this is just more or less ranging at the moment, and this is like an overshoot or a breakout, one of your failed breakout, and a lot of times we get one the opposite side as well. But we may, I suppose you could technically consider that, because we pushed up, we never came to the top, we came back and retested it 3 times and then pushed up. So this may just be a result of this. You can clearly see there's three tests there, 1, 2, 3. In fact, I don't know, that was a bad triple test actually, but we pushed up. We only got 2/3 of the way up there, 3/4 of the way up there, and we came back and retested this 3 times and then pushed. And then we had the opposite here. Traveling. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, okay, I'm going to have to finish, guys. I've got a guy coming to do my boiler. He's just turned up. So I appreciate all your comments. And I'll be back same time tomorrow. Have a great day. Have a great evening. Stay safe. And I will be back same time tomorrow. Bye for now.